Hello, my name is Julio Miguel A. Fernando, and this is our Group 6 topic for InfoAsec discussion. The Group 6 topics are DNS domain shadowing, DNS tunneling, and UDP flood attack. So, what are they? How is it done? And what are the mitigation strategies that are done to mitigate those attacks? Let's find out. For DNS domain shadowing, access to your web server is not essential to attackers. It is a case-to-case basis in which an attacker could create a website that are alike to the main website. The attackers could peddle their new subdomain completely hosted someplace that could be a malware to unsuspecting visitors. And also, the examples of these are school websites with completely different hosts, certain social media sites with suspecting subdomain, and auto-generated phishing pages designed to steal information and distribute malwares. So this is the main example for DNS domain shadowing. The left side is the original domain of a website, and in the middle, these are the domains that could be used as an exploit to attack a vulnerable netizen. So let's find out how to mitigate DNS domain shadowing. To mitigate these attacks, be vigilant of certain domain names by identifying which is legitimate and which is not. For example, in our examples that are given last time, abc.domain.com is obviously an exploit, and the main website is domain.com. And another way to mitigate DNS domain shadowing is by installing web browser exploit kits detecting suspecting domain shadowing. One example is RIG exploit kit. And if you are going to own certain domains, use two-factor authentication and increase the privacy of your domain. And that's it for DNS domain shadowing. Thank you.
Next topic would be the DNS tunneling. So what is DNS tunneling? DNS tunneling uses a client-server approach to tunnel malware and other data by taking advantage of the DNS protocol. DNS tunneling is a tricky attack that directs DNS requests to the attacker's server, giving attackers a covert material and control channel and path for data exploitation. So, how does the DNS tunneling works? So first, the attacker will create a domain that has a malware tunneling program on it. The attacker will then infect a computer with the malware. The DNS resolver routes the query to the attacker's command and control server where the tunneling program is installed. Then, now that the connection is complete between the attacker and the target, the attacker can now exploit data from its target.
The main way to mitigate DNS tunneling is the use of firewall. The firewall can be configured to detect and block DNS tunneling by creating an application rule that uses a protocol object, one of which is a DNS firewall that could be designed to quickly identify any intrusion or exfiltration. Thank you.
UDP flood attack. So what is UDP flood attack? A UDP flood attack is a type of denial of service attack in which a large numbers of users, datagram protocol or UDP packets are sent to a target server with the aim of overwhelming that device's ability to process and respond. The firewall protecting the target server can also become exhausted as a result of a UDP flooding, resulting in a denial of service to legitimate traffic. So how does a UDP flood attack work? A UDP flood works primarily by exploiting the step that server takes when it responds to a UDP packet sent to one of its ports. Under normal condition, when a server receives a UDP packet at a particular port, it goes through step in response. The first step, the server first checks to see if any programs are running which are presently listening for requests at the specified port. Number two, if no ports are receiving packets at the port, the server responds with a CMP ping packet to inform the sender that the destination was unreachable. And lastly, how is a UDP flood attack mitigated? Most operating systems limit the response rate of ICMP packets in part of disrupt or DDoS attacks that require ICMP response. One drawback of this type of mitigation is that during an attack, legitimate packets may also be filtered in the process. If the UDP flood attack has volume high enough to saturate the state table of targeted server firewall, any mitigation that occurs at the server level will insufficient as the bottleneck will occur upstream from the target devices.
Thank you for listening. That's all for Group 6 topics entitled DNS domain shadowing, DNS tunneling, and UDP flood attack.